I want to draw your attention to Romans chapter 12 and verses 1 and 2. A very, very familiar portion of Scripture. Romans chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. The Apostle Paul, by inspiration, writes this: I urge you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies a living and holy sacrifice, acceptable to God, which is your spiritual service of worship. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what the will of God is, that which is good and acceptable or well-pleasing and perfect. The phrase that I want to draw to your attention is at the end of verse 1, your spiritual service of worship. Worship is a popular subject these days, talked about a lot. There is a great amount of activity and commotion in the church these days centered around the idea of worship. I'm afraid that most people view worship and music as synonymous. And if you said to some congregation, I want you to worship the Lord with me, they would assume that immediately music would begin. There are people who believe that music is so inseparable from worship that it's critical what style of music you use. And if you don't use the right music, the music which speaks in the vernacular of any given group of people, you somehow limit their worship. The battle rages so fiercely over styles of music in the church as the means of worship that churches actually fragment into groups of people on all sides of the issue, and very often churches actually split over music. Because the basic underlying idea that some people have in their mind is that music produces worship, or music induces worship. And if you don't have the right style of music, worship won't happen. If the tune isn't contemporary, if the tune isn't familiar, if the arrangement isn't what it should be to interest a given group of people, they won't be able to worship. In the pop church, music often dominates, long and loud and repetitious. And it is an effort to move people's feelings and emotions in the direction of worship. There are many people who assume that music is the origin or the source of worship. And the illusion is that certain styles of music produce worship, certain tunes and certain arrangements induce worship, and other ones somehow limit it. Now, this may sound strange to you because I love music. I love music. But music, as such, has nothing to do with worship. Music can't produce worship. It can't induce worship. Music is not the origin of worship. Let me say it another way. Music is not the beginning of worship, it is the end of it. I love music, but I do not need music to worship. And there is some music that's not helpful to me in my worship. I enjoy music. I enjoy the sound of it. I enjoy the beauty of it. And it surely enriches my worship. I like certain melodies because they are beautiful or elaborate. I like certain tunes and certain arrangements. But those tunes and arrangements play a rather incidental role in my worship. Music or no music, music that is uniquely lilting and beautiful and winsome, or music that is not so much that way, whatever the music, I worship from a very different origin. My worship comes from another place. Where does it originate? That's what this text is telling us. Music is the end of worship. I love the songs we sang tonight and this morning. I love them because they are filled with my worship. They don't produce it. They don't induce it. They're not the source of it. They're not the origin of it, but they are the expression of it.